It is being filled by the present company that is operating now.
You are refilling it now?
Yes.
Where is the example of it?
You can go to that side.
Complementary mining framework to a much more rationally ordered, organized mining.
When it's on stream, this is what
This is what these are minerals occur in all the states of Nigeria, in all the local governments.
That's a very powerful analogy.
That will have a big job in our hands.
We must increase the level of beneficiation and processing locally.
Welcome to another episode of Mining in Nigeria. I am Gabriel Ojile. One major challenge working against Nigeria's quest to become a mining destination is illegal mining. Thankfully, the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development has in the last 2 years embarked on a mission to tackle the problem by adopting several pragmatic approaches. Our focus on the program today is to explore the challenges of illegal mining. Stay with us. The program continues after the break.
The environment is where society lives. Destroy it, destroy society. Illegal mining destroys the environment through ecological disturbance, destruction of natural flora and fauna, pollution of air, land and water, instability of soil and rock masses, landscape degradation and radiation hazards, waste of arable land, economic crops and trees, causing socio-environment problems. Stop illegal mining, protect the environment, preserve our society.
Before examining the issues of illegal mining, let's take a look at the news diary of the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development.
The Minister of Mines for Niger Republic, Dr. Hussein Musa, visited his Nigerian counterpart, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, in Abuja recently. Speaking through an interpreter, Dr. Hussein Musa said his visit is to strengthen cooperation between Nigeria and Niger Republic in the areas of mining and mineral resources, as well as capacity building for miners. The visiting minister appreciated the Nigerian government for its various support to Niger, particularly in the fight against insurgency. Responding, Nigerian Minister for Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, said the visit couldn't have come at a better time than now, when Nigeria is striving to develop the solid mineral sector, adding that Nigeria is ready to work with Niger to better the lot of miners and improve the fortunes of the mining sector in both countries. At the end of their interactions, the two ministers answered questions from journalists.
We are inseparable, and we have a long history of partnership. Only the artificial boundaries separate us. If you go to Maradi or go to Zinda or go to Jibia, we're the same people. And there are minerals that lie astride both our borders. So one of the conversations we've been having is how to do joint exploration of those mineral types there. Phosphate, uranium, gold, and any other minerals that may be buried under the soil in those places. The second reason is that for us, Pan-African partnership on mining is very important.
I'd like first of all to thank my colleague and dear friend, the Minister of Minerals, and I'd like also to say that I'm very satisfied with the meeting I had with the Minister, because a major step has been already achieved, because we're going to sign an MOU of cooperation between our two ministries for the development of the mining sector in our two countries.
Ils ont un vaste programme de recherche.
The Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development says it is determined to ensure the availability of standardized testing laboratories in the country to further boost investments in the solid mineral sector. Towards this end, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Abdul Qadir Muazu, paid a visit to the Nigeria Geosciences Research Laboratory in Kaduna to assess the situation so that measures can be taken to make it a globally recognized mineral testing center. The laboratory, established by the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency, is adjudged to having the best equipment in West Africa, but has largely remained unutilized by miners and researchers in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the World Bank Mineral Sector Support for Economic Diversification Project, MINDIVA project, under implementation has also penciled down the Kaduna Geosciences Laboratory for upgrade and international affiliation towards making it a recognized mineral testing center.
This project is looking at the laboratory and will bring an international laboratory managers to partner with them, to nurture them, and give that confidence to investors.
One of the reasons for embarking on the integrated automation and interactive solid mineral portal is to put information from the Nigeria Geological Survey Agency and the Mining Cadastre Office on one interface for easy accessibility by potential investors. This much was elaborated upon by the Director, Policy Research and Statistics of the Ministry, Mr. H.O. Davis, in a recent interview.
Before now, the Geological Survey that is responsible for provision of geoscience data, they are operating they are on their own, and the Mining Cadastre Office. So we try to integrate everything together so that just on one interface is possible for you to look at where are the minerals, endowment of the entire country, and you look at what about the mining licenses, are they available? So with all that, it is very easy for you to take a decision and invest in the country.
Mr. Davis further said that the global nature of solid minerals mining makes it imperative for Nigeria to embark on such a project so that investors wherever can make informed decisions about the Nigerian solid mineral sector.
The sector is actually made up of stakeholders that are global in nature. You have people in Australia, in Canada, wanting to invest in the mineral sector, and because of the information gap, it will be difficult for them to actually take a decision. And one of the steps taken by this administration happened to be the creation of this web portal to bridge this gap, information gap, especially on provision of reliable geosciences data, and also information on the mining titles of availability in the country.
The Ministry's web portal was launched in November 2017 as part of activities to mark the 2 years in office of the leadership of the Ministry. It was a development that was lauded by stakeholders in the solid mineral sector.
Some serious facts about kaolin, but in spite of this, contribution to GDP from the solid mineral sector is just about 0.3%, whereas the sector has a capacity to contribute at least 4%. Between these two figures is a large percentage lost to illegal mining activities, and that is what we shall be looking at in our next segment on the issues. What is the exact scope of illegal mining in Nigeria? Who is an illegal miner? And what is the ministry doing to curtail their activities? Let's find out.
Now.
that information on your fingertips. We have so many people running all over the place. Whether you want to call them illegal miners or informal miners without any feeling of punishment for bad behavior. All of these are now being put in place so that you know that there are steps to be taken if you want to come into the mining sector. You don't just mine because in your backyard this is your ancestral land and your grandfather has been doing this. Yes, that may well be, but we're in a country of laws.
Mining in Nigeria is not an all-comers affair. The exploration and exploitation of solid minerals in the country is regulated by the Nigerian Mineral and Mining Act of 2007. Provisions of this law guide the following: ownership and control of solid minerals, administration of the solid mineral sector for sustainable development, acquisition of mineral titles, licenses and leases, requirements for the acquisition of mineral titles, and even possession and purchases of minerals. In spite of the regulatory framework, the solid mineral sector has been dominated by illegal miners. The Mining Cadastre Office is in charge of conferring a legal status on a mine's operation by issuing licenses and leases to miners. The DG speaks on what illegal mining is.
Illegal mining, as far as you're concerned, is a criminal act. As I said earlier on, any operation, mining operations, carried out outside the licenses I've mentioned is illegal. And mining can only be, actual extraction can only be carried out within the leases I've mentioned earlier on. That is the quarry lease, mining lease, and small-scale mining lease.
Many reasons have been advanced as to why miners choose to carry out their duties informally or illegally.
Illegal mining activities is as a result, one, of some people trying to make ends meet, and some people do it just because they want to cut corners, because sometimes we give, because there are different stages of licensing, you give some people license to go and explore. If you explore, whatever you find, you are supposed to be reporting your findings to us, and you cannot go and start mining until you are given a mining license.
They feel that maybe it is difficult to get a license. They engage into mining. Some purely criminal activity. People engage in doing illegal things while you can do it legally. But this has been a problem, in fact, not only in Nigeria, in most places.
The Mines Inspectorate Division of the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development has a mandate to check the activities of illegal miners. This it does through a verification process also prescribed by law.
When an operator is issued a license from the Mining Cadastre, the Mining Cadastre sent a copy to me, then I will send it to the state where that license is. And the operator is supposed to go to the state office and then register its presence there so that they can document that company. Perchance they discover a site where they are not aware of. And there is a condition in the Act where it says pre-commencement of operation conditions. You will submit your document, the mines office in the state will go and inspect and check with the coordinate on your title to ensure that where you are showing them is exactly where your license covers. Before then, they will now give you a written letter to commence whatever type of operation. But perchance they discover a place that is not known to them, they will make some finding and then take the coordinate of that point, send it to Mining Cadastre to confirm if there is a mineral title there and then who owns it.
Illegality in mining is not tied to exploration and exploitation of the minerals only. Even those who want to deal in the sale and purchase of solid minerals need to get a license, or else their activities are considered illegal.
We have a license that is issued within the ministry that is called License to Purchase and Possess Minerals. You may not be a miner, but you can deal in minerals, but purely under the license to purchase and possess minerals.
In whatever form it takes, illegal mining is a major challenge to mining in Nigeria. The impact reflects mostly on revenue generation and investments.
By our own assessment, we believe that at least 2% of GDP is being lost to illegal mining and illegal exploitation of mineral resources in the country.
And of course, it discourages serious investors, because you cannot go be spending millions of dollars to do an exploration program only for some people to come and be cutting the things away illegally. It discourages serious investors from coming.
Illegal mining also has an adverse effect on the environment, as these miners do not respect the provision of the law safeguarding the environment or enforcing remediation. Dangerous holes are left by illegal miners which pose serious danger to unsuspecting persons and even animals. The Ministry of Mines and Steel Development is drawing on experience from other mining jurisdictions on how to tackle the problem of illegal miners. This has thrown up the option of formalizing this set of miners as a way of legalizing their activities.
We decided here, instead of calling them illegal miners, we should rather organize them and incorporate them into the system. That is what is done in other areas, and that's why engaging other countries has really helped us. We know how they organize them in Ethiopia. We know what has been done in Tanzania. We know what has been done in Ghana, and we are trying to do just that. Illegal activities, yes, it's very difficult to stop illegal activities, but we can limit, reduce them.
We look at the possibility of forming them into a cooperative, which is anchored by the ASM department. And in every state, we do have an ASM officer. He will go there and talk to them and advise them. If they don't hear, then we have to apply force to chase them away.
Applying force to contain the activities of illegal miners is a daunting task for the mines officers and the Mines Inspectorate Division. The capacity to monitor has been limited due to logistics. This is, however, receiving attention with provision of utility vehicles for the use of mines officers in the various states. Collaboration with security agencies and the formation of the Solid Minerals Task Force is also another step in boosting the capacity to check the activities of illegal miners. A training workshop was organized for the task force in Jos Plateau State recently to equip the security bodies on what to look out for when contending with illegal miners.
This have been very important by the side. Collaborative investment funding. Now we are also looking at other windows.
The Ministry of Mines and Steel Development is exploring all avenues to address the issue of illegal mining and formalize the sector for investors to come in. This is to ensure that solid mineral sector becomes a major avenue for job creation and economic diversification that the Buhari administration has set for it.
The challenge of illegal mining is a global one. The good news is that the ministry is rolling out plans and policies to bring illegal miners to the side of the law, thereby increasing revenue from mining activities. Our stakeholder segment today will take a different turn as we engage some of them to speak on the efforts of the Buhari administration to turn around the fortunes of the solid mineral sector. Let's hear them.
Our core mandate is to develop their capacity.
So I think we are ready to work with the ministry.
Transparency and accountability is being brought into mining.
It's one of the ways we can increase the non-oil export revenues.
for a very long time, it's never been so good for the mining sector. Because right from the coming on board of our dear President, President Buhari, he made it abundantly clear that his emphasis will be on the solid mineral sector, the mining sector. And he's walking the talk, actually. He has provided renewed vigor in terms of commitment of actually fulfilling that promise that we need to diversify.
For those who watch the ministry carefully, you realize that the last 2 years of the ministry has been something else. The achievement has been exceptional. And the ministry is now guided by the roadmap on how to achieve the government aspiration of capturing solid mineral as one of the major diversification options. And therefore, in the next few years, you'll be amazed by the contribution of the sector to the GDP.
What the minister is doing now, the two ministers are joining hands together to do a good job. So if they're able to continue that way for maybe this roadmap, we're able to continue along that line for the next 5 years, we may not go back again to the sleep we had. We slept for a long time.
Good rating for the strides of the current leadership of the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. As one of the stakeholders said, sustaining the pace will surely take the solid mineral sector to greater heights. Before we go, highlights of mining news from around the world. Mining companies operating in South Africa may soon have to increase their black-owned stakes from 26% to 30%. Newly appointed Minister of Mineral Resources, Gwede Mantashe, said the key to regain investors and miners' confidence in the South African mining sector was to finalize revised plans for black ownership in the industry by end of May. Mid-tier Canadian miner B2Gold has said that its Fekola mines will not be affected by Mali's new mining code, which plans to reduce a 30-year protection that mines in Mali enjoy. B2Gold believes its interests in Fekola are protected as the asset is governed by a finalized and enforced mining convention valid for the lifespan of the mines. The Permanent Secretary of the Zambian Ministry of Mines has said the country expects to produce more than 1 million tons of copper this year in view of demand. The Permanent Secretary, who said production actually hit 800,000 tons last year, says the coming into the market of electric cars is a huge incentive for mining companies in the country to expand production. Russia's largest gold producer, Polius, has revealed plans to start selling antimony, targeting up to 15% of global output of the metal. The rising prices of antimony is the major reason behind the decision to start kilns of the metal. Antimony is used primarily to make fire retardants, and batteries, and tight Chinese supply is currently pushing up the price in Europe. One major lesson we may take from today's edition of Mining in Nigeria is the fact that the development of any sector rests not just on the shoulders of the government, but the people as well. The same applies to the solid mineral sector. The indiscriminate activities of illegal miners are a major obstacle to its development. Addressing the problem is the key to making the solid mineral sector in Nigeria great again. Keep a date with us same time next week for another episode of Mining in Nigeria. Bye for now.